I do this with my boss, with Commissioner Goodell, about the rule book and rule changes.
Right.
Because I'm a rule book, wonk, if you will, in a way, and it's also a way to affect, the popularity of a sport that I love in baseball, and so that's sort of the thing. I have a couple of ideas, if you don't mind, if we throw it out there.
I'm happy to do that.
And I'm sure that there's one that you've already come up with, something from the world of football, that you put a mic on your umps and they announce to the crowd what they're reviewing. And then after review, instead of just coming out and just going safe or out, and we're wondering, what are we talking about? He's safe because why? He's out because why? Not to turn your umps into Ed Hockley where it comes out in full poetic verse, but what about that idea?
Yeah, we have talked about this idea. I think that we may try to do something on the scoreboards first in terms of an explanation with the definitive replay available to the fans. Mm-hmm. We have had a lot of suggestions about that. It's interesting. I think the broader point is this, Rich. All sports, mm-hmm. the NBA has, the NFL has, use rule changes to adjust the game, to react to things that are happening on the field, mm-hmm. to make the entertainment product better. I think if you look back, the sport that's been slowest to do it is us, right? The last major rule change that affected play on the field was the DH, and we only did it for one of the two leagues, right?
Right.
So I do think that your suggestion about looking at other sports and what's is a good thing. In terms of giving our fans comfort that this is the appropriate way to manage a sport.
Mm-hmm. And then in terms of what the NBA is dealing with right now is players resting.
Right.
Where people come and they expecting to see the stars, they don't see them.
Right.
I mean, sometimes a day after night game, their stars are not on the field in certain places. Right. Do you talk to your teams about that at all?
We don't have as many issues with players being rested. It's more a natural part of the fabric of our game because it's an everyday game. Mm-hmm. You think about it, Rich, right? I think I worked pretty hard 162 times in 183 days, mm-hmm. with most of those off days consumed by travel. That's a pretty rough schedule, and I think our fans understand that mm-hmm. periodically our players are going to be down, and the effect of a single player being out in baseball is not as great as in some other sports.
A couple more minutes with Commissioner Rob Manfred here before we send you off to a youth play function that I want to talk to you about. What about some of these stars? I mean, if for instance, Josh Donaldson, mm-hmm. I'm just throwing him out there. He's one of our favorite guests. I love that guy.
Yeah,
he's got a great way about him. He's got a great attitude. What about getting these stars out there in front of a camera, in front of a microphone? That's the way to connect with your stars of the game today. What is the plan that you guys have and with the club level, et cetera, to get these guys on shows like this or all over the place?
Absolutely no question that we need to work with our players to build their individual brands. And, as you point out, we have great raw material right now.
No
we got
question.
A great generation of young players. I mean, some of them on display last night
right.
that you can really work with, appealing to fans. And I think that it has to be multi-platform exposure for our players. We're trying to work with the Players Association right now to make a little bigger deal about player likenesses, player promotional activities to get our players out there more. We need cooperation from the MLBPA on that front. And we need to be smart about the way we do it. Our schedule presents challenges. There's no question that other sports don't face. If you play, I'm not suggesting it's easy to be an NFL player, but if you play once a week, it's a lot easier to find time to come and sit with Rich Eisen than when you're playing 162 times in 183 days.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.